Lu Huayin went through the book and entered a book of interstellar torture. In the book, she is a kind-hearted girl, but she has been targeted by the male protagonist for fighting for the female protagonist and has become a small cannon fodder sandwiched between these sadistic protagonists. Lu Huayin, who was born, initially had no memories of her previous life, but the fighting spirit of Hua Guo had already been engraved in her bones. She has been a child from another family since childhood. In Lu Huayin's eyes, the emotional entanglement between male and female leads is more interesting than solving a problem or designing a model. Fortunately, she woke up not too late and successfully embarked on a different path after ignoring the scene of the female lead being bullied. When the male lead instigated someone to teach the female lead a lesson, Lu Huayin ranked first in the school. When the female lead tried to please the male lead with guilt, Lu Huayin was admitted to a top federal military academy. When the male lead and female support are flirtatious and physically abuse the female lead, Lu Huayin drives a mecha and gallops on the field of the military academy league. When the male lead was chasing his wife at the crematorium, Lu Huayin had already entered the battlefield and fought fiercely against the Zerg. Finally, when the hometown news channel aired a video of the male lead kneeling in front of the entire universe and begging for forgiveness from the female lead, she patted her chest in fear. Fortunately, I was far away from them. The world of love brain is really scary. Keywords of the novel. Female supporting role as the King of Scrolls in Interstellar Assault without pop-ups, female supporting role as the King of Scrolls in Interstellar Assault. Download the complete text, and female supporting role as the King of Scrolls in Interstellar Assault. Read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Awakening. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Awakening. The piercing insults woke up Lu Huayin, who was lost in thought. Her dilated pupils regained their radiance, and it was shocking that the scene that was happening in front of her now was actually from a book. Just now, she had intended to step forward to stop it, but unexpectedly, some unfamiliar memories suddenly popped up in her mind. She surprisingly regained her memories from the previous life, where Lu Huayin was just an ordinary student who was hit and killed by a drunk driving car while celebrating her college entrance exam results. Before she could recover from her grief, she realized that she had lived in a novel for the rest of her life. The girl in front of her who is being bullied is the protagonist of this novel, while Lu Huayin herself is the cannon fodder supporting character in the novel. When Lu Huayin, the female supporting character, appeared in the novel, it was in the early and middle stages of the book. At that time, the male lead had already misunderstood the female lead, and the female lead's family went bankrupt. Therefore, people in school began to bully the female lead under the guidance of the male lead. Lu Huayin, the female supporting character, couldn't bear to read it and said 2 words to the female lead. I don't know what the male lead thinks, but after Lu Huayin helped the female lead, she was retaliated by the male lead. In the book, Lu Huayin has always been a good student with excellent character and academic performance. In this year's test, she was the most promising person to be admitted to a top federal military academy. However, she ended up with a ruined future because she helped the female lead, and in the end, she and her family went to an unknown planet. Originally, helping others was voluntary by Lu Huayin in the book, but what happened afterwards really made Lu Huayin angry now. Because the book she was reading was a cruel text, no matter what harm the male lead caused to the female lead in the end, she would forgive him and be with him. After the two were together, the male lead even asked the female lead if he had driven Lu Huayin away. The female lead hated him, and she was also a romantic brain. She only shed 2 crocodile tears and continued to be happy with the male lead. Thinking of this, Lu Huayin was truly unworthy of her portrayal in the book, so she ignored the scene of the female lead being bullied and walked over expressionless. She just wanted to leave, but someone refused to let her go. A girl with red hair stepped forward to stop her and said, "What are you doing? Did you leave? What they have done is already hard to see. If this person leaves, tell the teacher what to do later. We can't let her leave." Thinking about it, the red-haired girl pushed Lu Huayin again. Unexpectedly, Lu Huayin was pushed back 2 steps, her eyebrows furrowed, and her gaze cast a cold glance at the girl. The red-haired girl was startled by her gaze, but soon she regained her senses and found herself frightened by the girl's gaze in front of her, instantly becoming angry and embarrassed. She turned her head to her boss and said maliciously, "Boss, this person has seen us, we can't let her leave." However, her boss has been lost in thought since seeing Lu Huayin appear, and has never heard what she said. Although these girls in the book are not good people, Lu Huayin's main purpose today is to avoid the plot, so she doesn't want to entangle with them here and is ready to leave directly. "Xiao Bu, come over and stop her with me." Seeing the boss ignoring her, the red-haired girl called out to the girl who had stepped on the back of the original female lead. The two of them chuckled inwardly as they prepared to take action against Lu Huayin. On the other side, Bai Yanran, lying on the ground, saw someone attracting the attention of a few people. She slowly got up from the ground, ready to secretly leave. Although the leaders of the two girls have been thinking about things, they still paid some attention to Bai Yanran. Seeing that she wanted to leave, the boss instinctively kicked Bai Yanran and kicked her against the wall. With a thud, Bai Yanran's body slid down the wall and fell to the ground, with blood spurting out of her mouth. The accident happened too quickly. By the time the female boss regained consciousness, Bai Yanran had already taken in more air and less air. As the blood flowed more and more, the female leader's expression began to panic, and the other two girls who saw this scene also turned much paler. Among the few people, only Lu Huayin's expression remained unchanged. She seemed to have not seen it and stood up, ready to leave. "We can't let her leave," the female boss shouted loudly. At this moment, she couldn't care about identifying Lu Huayin's identity anymore. There was only one thing in her mind. She couldn't let anyone leave here, otherwise she would be finished. Upon hearing her command, the red-haired girl and Xiao Bu instinctively moved their hands towards Lu Huayin. Being stopped again, Lu Huayin's expression became even colder. She just wanted to stay away from the plot. Why is it so difficult? Taking a glance at Bai Yanran, who was angry and unaware, she knew that this matter could not be resolved. Well, since they want to seek death, then they won't hesitate. Lu Huayin threw her backpack aside and raised her hand to grab the red-haired girl's wrist. With just a click, her wrist broke and the red-haired girl screamed out in agony. Lu Huayin threw the red-haired girl aside, and then she kicked the little cloth on the right. The two of them were knocked unconscious by her 3 times, 5 times out of 2. After solving the 2 weak chickens, Lu Huayin looked at their leader. The female boss instinctively took a step back when she saw her, but when she remembered her current situation, she regained her composure. She pulled out the fruit knife tightly held in her hand and stabbed at Lu Huayin with all her might. Lu Huayin dodged her attack and then kicked away the fruit knife in her hand. The weapon was gone, and the female boss thought of fighting against Lu Huayin with bare hands. Lu Huayin didn't give her a chance, so she kicked her to the ground and then pressed her back down with her knees. The female boss coughed twice and said intermittently, You are, Lu. Before finishing speaking, the person fainted. Lu Huayin stood up and frowned as she watched the people lying on the ground in all directions. She lowered her body and used the female boss's optical brain to play a series of numbers, explaining the situation here. After resolving the matter, she stood up and clapped her hands, then left with her backpack on her back. After Lu Huayin's figure disappeared, Bai Yanran finally got up from the ground. At this moment, her eyes were filled with astonishing hatred, and she murmured, Lu Huayin. Since you have the ability, why don't you help me? Why on earth? Bai Yanran didn't hate those people who bullied her today, because she knew it was Boza's orders. She was sorry for Boz, so she should have let him vent her anger. However, that Lu Huayin, who was capable of helping herself, watched her being beaten and scolded helplessly. She was still a good student, and she must expose her true identity. As she spoke, she stumbled along with the wall and left the place. Shortly after they left, an ambulance roared and carried away 3 people on the ground. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Training. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Training. Leaving the place where the plot took place, Lu Hua breathed a sigh of relief, unsure if she had done the right thing. Although she wanted to avoid the plot, she still had to blend in. At this moment, Lu Huayin didn't know that the female protagonist had already hated her for not helping, and she leaned against the wall to reminisce about the plot in the book. The school where Lu Huayin is located is PR11 Star First Senior High School. PR11 Star is a medium-sized planet in the Federation, which is rich in mineral resources. Although the rarity of mineral veins is not high, they are essential for manufacturing mechs, so there is a group of wealthy people on the planet who have made a fortune from minerals, and the hostess's family was one of them before bankruptcy. According to the book and what Lu Huayin herself knows, the male protagonist's family seems to have a high status on the Federation star. The branch of the male protagonist's lineage came to PR11 mainly for the mineral resources on this planet, so the male protagonist's family has a high status on PR11. The situation in Lu Huayin's family is similar to that of the female lead, and she is considered one of the local billionaires. There is no way to compare her power with the male lead's family, so in the book, they appear so powerless when facing the male lead's difficulties. Forget it. The soldiers come to stop her, but the water comes to cover her. Anyway, she is different from the one in the book. She is not afraid of the revenge of the male leader. In the book, Lu Huayin is addicted to learning and doesn't listen to things outside the window. If it weren't for encountering those 2 unlucky men and women, her future would definitely be bright. Lu Huayin has been a warfighter since childhood. She not only excels in academic performance, but also has invincible skills in the neighborhood. Although she did not recover her memories from her past life, the genes of Hua Guo are deeply engraved in her bones. Since childhood, Lu Huayin has been well versed in the art of the King of Scrolls. When others come home to play, she studies hard. Because she secretly rolled over other children, she was beaten up. After that, Lu Huayin became even more agitated. She not only struggled with her studies, but also engaged in fights. After learning that Mr. Lester, who lived in the same community as herself, had been in the military and was still a combat hero, she went to visit him every day, asking him to teach her martial arts. After witnessing Lu Huayin's perseverance, Lester was also moved by her behavior and decided to teach her. From then on, Lu Huayin slept tirelessly and worked tirelessly day and day, finally achieving a reputation through practice. Her physical fitness level also successfully stabilized at level A. Today she met the female lead who was beaten because she took a shortcut and had to go for training. That alley is both remote and without surveillance, making it perfect for doing bad things, but many people know that Lu Huayin likes to walk from there, so they mostly avoid it. These 3 girls may not be familiar with Lu Huayin, so they chose to block the female lead in that alley. Thinking of training, Lu Huayin raised her hand to check the time and realized that she was almost late. Damn it, it's all because of that broken plot. She rushed to the training ground, but she was still late. Why, when you know I'm leaving, just relax, Teacher Lester joked with a smile as she saw Lu Huayin coming over. Are you leaving? Where are you going? Lu Huayin quickly grasped the key point in his words. I haven't heard from Teacher Lester before, why did he suddenly have to leave? Didn't the principal of the Reserve Military Academy come to me a while ago? His intention was for me to teach there, Lester explained. So that's why he came to see you, Lu Huayin suddenly realized. Aren't you graduating soon and heading to the capital star? I don't need to worry about it anymore. For Lu Huayin, he doesn't have much to teach, so going to the preparatory military academy is just a way to showcase his value. The federal crisis is rampant, and he is proud to do his best to cultivate excellent talents for the country. So, it's me who delayed you, Lu Huayin said with a smile. The relationship between the two is both teacher and friend, and they often make jokes about each other. However, most of the time, Lu Huayin still has great respect for Teacher Lester. Meeting you was my luck. When I first arrived on PR-11, Lester was filled with despair. Having witnessed the death of his comrade in arms and being seriously injured, leaving behind a sequelae that prevented him from going back to the battlefield, he didn't know what value he had in life. Until encountering Lu Huayin, her appearance made me understand that even if he couldn't go to the battlefield again, he could still make a difference in other places. After the training was over, the sky was completely dark. After bidding farewell to Teacher Lester, Lu Huayin left the training ground. The PR-11 star at night is not like the ancient blue star. There is a moon and countless stars in the sky, and there is nothing in the sky here. Fortunately, the city not far away is brightly lit, illuminating the pitch-black night sky. Sitting on a public floating car and speeding towards a wealthy area, Lu Huayin collided with a luxury aircraft that suddenly rushed out halfway. Sitting in the car, Lu Huayin almost fell off her seat. Fortunately, her lower body was extremely stable and her reaction was quick, so she stabilized her figure. The safety mechanism of the floating car was activated, the vibration disappeared, and the car stopped in the open space below. Due to a traffic accident, they were detained by the quickly arriving traffic police. The traffic police in the interstellar space are jointly operated by simulated robots and human police officers who are given fixed instructions. Generally, a team of robot traffic police officers will have a human traffic police officer in charge. Due to the chaos caused by intelligent robots many years ago, the use of artificial intelligence was restricted in many places. Except for a few areas where artificial intelligence is indispensable, other robots can only act according to instructions. Therefore, after being detained by the robot police, Lu Huayin must wait for the real-person traffic police to resolve this matter. Lu Huayin and the owner of the crashed aircraft were taken to the nearest police station. The perpetrator is none other than the male protagonist of this book. This time point has also been mentioned in the book. After the female supporting actress Lu Huayin helped the female lead, she was able to go home early. However, this time, she offended her own sister. In the book, the sister of the female leader takes the place of the female leader's kindness to the male leader and gets the love of the male leader. The two sisters did not deal with each other before the family fell down, and later turned against each other for the sake of a man. The misunderstandings between the male protagonist and the female protagonist are mostly framed by the female protagonist's sister, including this time. The female protagonist returned home early this time and heard her sister's conspiracy. She slapped her sister because she couldn't bear it, and her sister cried and sold him a miserable life. The male protagonist immediately rushed over to protect her. It's just that there are no minor incidents of car collisions in the book. Lu Huayin doesn't know if the author didn't write them or if this happened because she was awakened. However, regardless of the reason, it is certain that she dislikes the male lead. Based solely on the description in the book, this male lead is enough to make people dislike him. Seeing him today, it is indeed even more so. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Male lead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Male lead. After the two of them were taken to the police station, the male lead sat there in a grandpa-like manner, constantly shouting, "Do you know who I am? How dare you catch me?" After speaking, as if he didn't think it was enough, he pointed at Lu Huayin, who was also at the police station, and said, That's you. You don't have any eyes, you dare to bump into the young master's car." Just as he was shouting, the police in this jurisdiction walked up to Lu Huayin with the results and said, "You can go back now. This matter has nothing to do with you. If there are any new questions later, we will contact you again." Because Lu Huayin was riding a public suspended vehicle, this whole matter has nothing to do with her. Not only is it okay, but she may also receive some compensation. Lu Huayin nodded and thanked the police. "I understand, thank you, officer." At this moment, the young master, who had been clamoring, became unhappy and said, "How could she leave? I can't leave. Quiet, don't even look where this is. The police patted the table and looked sternly at boss. What's going on? You know in your heart that if it weren't for your sudden outburst, people wouldn't have had to suffer this unfounded disaster. It's extremely despicable to make a mistake without repentance and dare to shout at the police. This little police officer has just taken office, and what he hates the most is people like Bose who bully others. Okay, I don't want to do it anymore, right? You guys wait for me. The male lead's tone was full of threats, and it was obvious that he had a background. Hey, kid, you dare to threaten the police. The police officers in the jurisdiction were almost laughing angrily. I'll wait here and see what you can do to me. Then he looked at Lu Huayin who had not yet left and said in a soft voice, Little sister, you should go home first, otherwise everyone in the family should be worried. This Lu Huayin pointed to the male lead, feeling a bit worried about the police officer, as the male lead's family is still very powerful. It's okay, he can't do anything to me. It's already late, you go home quickly. The little police officer showed full confidence, as if he didn't even take the male lead's threat to heart. Okay, then. Since everyone had said so, Lu Huayin had to leave. However, before leaving, she told the police about the male lead's identity, hoping that he was really not afraid of the male lead's family. Watching Lu Huayin leave, the male protagonist Boss Weiler became even more angry. He dialed a number in his brain and recounted what had happened here. And solemnly informed the other party what would happen to him and his family if the little police officer was not punished, but before they could finish speaking, the other party hung up the phone. These things were all noticed by the little police officer. After Bose was hung up, he slowly said, Why, isn't it making me look good? Why can't it be? Back then, when I was arrogant, you were still playing with mud. Obviously, Boss has encountered an opponent, and the opponent's strength is even stronger than him. Stop chattering, if you don't want to have a hard time, just sign the fine slip quickly. The little police officer shook the fine slip in his hand and gestured for Bose to come and sign it. As his strength was inferior to that of others, Bose could only suppress his grievances and sign a fine. After leaving the police station gate and being blown by the wind, he remembered what had happened today. It was already this time, and he didn't know how Fei Fei was doing, whether she would continue to be bullied by Bai Yanran. Thinking of this, Bose remembered who the girl was just now. It was she who helped Bai Yanran, which was why Bai Yanran went home early to bully Fei Fei. It was also because she was on the road that she caused her car collision and was detained. Lu Huayin, aren't you a good student? I'm making it difficult for you to survive here. Lu Huayin is very famous in the first high school. As the top student in the grade list, she is known by her name in the ears of every student. Naturally, her family is often used to talk about things. Although Bosi doesn't pay attention to school affairs, he has heard of Lu Huayin's name and has seen photos as well. At that time, Bai Fei Fei was bouncing over with a photo of landing Huayin and asked if he liked the beautiful woman. He said that in his eyes, only his own Fei Fei little princess was the most beautiful, and other women were just fleeting. Thinking of Bai Fei Fei, Bose couldn't help but smile in his eyes. No, he still had to go see Fei Fei and not let her be bullied by Bai Yanran. For this reason, the young master got on the public levitation car he used to disdain. After Lu Huayin left, she was still thinking in her heart whether the male lead was too young now, which is why he spoke and acted so arrogantly without a clear mind. She just thought about it and realized that the male lead might not be very smart, which is why she was blinded by the second female lead sister for so long in the book. Oh, forget it, I don't think about it anymore. Anyway, I won't have too much interaction with them in the future. Why do I want to do so much? Lu Huayin muttered to herself, and then she stopped thinking about these things. The place where Lu Huayin currently resides is in the wealthy area of PR11 star. Since there is a wealthy area on the planet, the impoverished area is also inevitable. The female protagonist currently resides in the impoverished area, where most of the people live, are miners. Although mechanical applications are now very widespread, some operations still rely on manual labor, so miners are an essential element of this resource star. Of course, don't think that miners are very poor. PR11 is a medium-sized planet after all, and with abundant resources on the planet, even the poor on this planet have better living conditions than ordinary people on lower planets. The classification of star levels in interstellar space from high to low is top level, high level, moderate, and low level, followed by the worst garbage stars. However, garbage stars are mostly uninhabited, so they are not within the scope of classification. The classification of planets is determined by their level of development, economic and technological development, resource availability, and livability. PR11 is rich in mineral resources, but has a low level of mineral veins, which is why it is classified as a medium planet. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Star Network. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Star Network. Mom, I'm back, Lu Huayin shouted when she got home. My dear daughter has returned, and the food is ready. Wash your hands and eat now. Upon hearing her daughter's voice, Mrs. Lu immediately ran down the stairs. What's going on today? Why did you come back so late? Lu Huayin's life is very regular. Generally, after training at school, she will go home. If there is anything, she will report it in advance, so if she comes back late today, Lu's mother is very worried. I encountered something on the way, so I was a bit late. Lu Huayin didn't say anything, fearing that her family would worry after saying it. Besides, with my ability, I don't know who the unlucky one is. You're right. Mom Lu didn't ask much, she was very confident about her daughter's strength, and besides, the security on PR11 is pretty good, so usually nothing happens. After finishing her meal, Lu Huayin went straight back to her room because there was a nanny robot cleaning up the things at home. Her room was a suite that included a bedroom, study, and bathroom. After washing up, she lay down in the holographic chamber placed in the study. With a flash of the screen, her person appeared in the Star Network hall. The Star Network is like a virtual world, and when a person lies in the holographic chamber, their spiritual power will be connected to the Star Network. However, there is a time limit for minors under the age of 18 to log into the Star Network. After awakening their spiritual power, this time limit will be extended to 3 days. In the interstellar era, the physical fitness of the human body has greatly improved, and the Interstellar Federation has therefore classified physical fitness into different levels. People with higher physical fitness levels have longer lifespans, while those with lower levels have shorter lifespans. The highest known physical fitness level for humans is 3S, and the lowest is F. As the female protagonist of sadistic literature, Bai Yanran's physical fitness level can only reach D, while Lu Huayin's physical fitness level is about to break through S. As soon as she entered the Star Network hall, Lu Huayin received an invitation to form a team. She clicked agree, and as soon as she entered the team, she heard the sound of how to shout. Xiaoyin, why are you so late today? Did you forget me? Yuli, can you stop being so disgusting? Yi Bei slapped him hard. I'll go, Yi Bei. You're so cruel when you hit me, it hurts me so much. Yuli rubbed his shoulder, feeling that Yi Bei was waiting for an opportunity to retaliate against him. In the Star Network, even virtual humans can feel pain, but the pain can be adjusted. The closer a few people log into the Star Network for training, the more the pain is adjusted, so it has always been 100%. Alright, you two. A female voice scolded the two people who were playing with treasure, and then she looked at Lu Huayin who had just come over and asked, Xiaoyin, you haven't had anything to do today, have you? No, Lu Huayin shook her head. It was just a delay on the way home. I usually don't know, but I didn't expect to show up a little late today, and there are so many people who care about me. If it's okay, that's good. A deep male voice sounded, and everyone's attention was instantly drawn to him. Then let's go out now. These few people were accidentally encountered by Lu Huayin. At that time, she was watching a mecha simulation competition. When the team appeared, she was instantly attracted by the captain's pleasant voice, so she became interested in the team. Later, one of the team members couldn't participate in the competition for some reason, so Lu Huayin volunteered to become their teammate. Due to her age, several people didn't want her, but fortunately, Lu Huayin's strength was excellent and she successfully joined this team. In reality, people without awakened spiritual power cannot use mechas, so in order to satisfy the dreams of teenagers, even those under the age of 18 can use mechas in the Star Network. Since joining this team, several people have quickly gotten to know each other. After a period of adjustment, Lu Huayin participated in several mecha competitions with them. At first, she lost a few because she was not proficient. Fortunately, none of her teammates blamed her. Later, Lu Huayin specifically consulted with teacher Lester about mecha combat, and she practiced on StarNet for a long time before finally not dragging her feet. As soon as Lu Huayin and her companions left, they saw the arena located in the center of the field. Although the Star Network looks very similar to the real world, it is still virtual, so in reality, people who are far away can teleport together as long as they enter the Star Network. When Lu Huayin first entered the Star Network, she received a team link, and as soon as she clicked, it would be teleported to the captain's side. The other members of the team are also known in reality, they are classmates from the same school, so when they log into the Star Network, they are together and don't have to teleport like Lu Huayin. On the Star Network, the arena of the mech simulation contest has always been crowded with people. After so many years of development, the total population of Interstellar has reached hundreds of billions, and the population of the Federation accounts for nearly 1/10 of the total population of Interstellar. Therefore, it can be imagined how few people there will be in this arena. Soon, the battle on the field came to an end, and it was Lu Huayin's team's turn to play. The next to appear are the Red Flame team and the Whirlwind team. The host's voice spread throughout the entire field. Upon hearing that these two teams were fighting, the audience was extremely excited. The Red Flame team had appeared on the field in recent months, winning 10 consecutive victories and defeating the strong Black Mountain team. It can be said that they were the strongest dark horse during this period. The Whirlwind team is an old established team on the field, using mostly light mechas. This team is best at kite warfare, and they will consume the enemy's combat power infinitely until their energy is depleted. Overall, both teams have their own advantages, which can confuse the audience. They are not just here to watch games, they can place bets on their favorite team during team matches. As long as that team wins, both the audience and the team can receive rewards. Because this is an official competition on StarNet, the betting amount is generally not too large, and it also has an upper limit. Generally, people with loose funds and a love for mechs will place a few bets. Which team do you choose? As long as it's a bet, it's inevitable to discuss. I choose the Red Flame squad. I originally wanted to choose the Red Flame team, but I heard that the Red Flame team seems to have a new member recently, and I don't know if it's reliable. The audience in front quickly joined the conversation as they heard the discussion behind them. At this moment, the person next to him interjected, "The Red Flame Squadron has indeed changed players. I have seen their rookie competition and I don't think it's very good." "Really, what's going on? Tell me more about it." The people who heard it came up to inquire about the news. However, after a while, the news of the replacement of the Red Flame team had already spread throughout the field. The person who had originally intended to bet on the Red Flame team hesitated twice and instead placed the bet on the Whirlwind team. At this moment, Lu Huayin and others who are about to enter the competition have no idea what is happening in the audience. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Competition. As soon as both sides made their appearances, the audience outside the venue immediately shouted loudly. Red Flame Team, Red Flame Team. Whirlwind Team, Whirlwind Team. The protective cover set up on the arena has a good sound insulation effect, and Lu Huayin and others have not heard any sound outside the arena. Enter the arena, board your own mech, and the 5 members of the Red Flame Squadron set up their positions to look at the opposite Whirlwind Squadron. The members of the Whirlwind Squadron use all light mechs, known for their speed. They are best at kiting enemies and playing with them. The mecha combination of Lu Huayin and others is one of the most commonly seen regular lineups on the field, with Latia Santamillion driving a light mecha, whose main role in the team is to scout and contain enemies. Yuli drives a heavy defense mecha, Yi Bei drives an auxiliary mecha, which is mainly used for firepower coverage and provides cover for close-range attacking teammates. Lu Huayin and Captain drive a medium-sized strong attack mecha, which is the strongest in terms of combat effectiveness. They can both attack from a distance and engage in close combat, and after this period of adjustment, their cooperation is also very tacit. After the external host finished broadcasting, the battle officially began. Both sides launched attacks at the same time, with Yi Bei firing a shell at the mecha located in the middle of the opposite Whirlwind Squad. Latia piloted the mecha into the air to investigate the movement trajectory of the enemy mecha, while the Whirlwind Squad also refused to be outdone. Their strategy is to first concentrate their firepower to deal with Latia above, and then engage in tugs with several mechs located on the ground. The mecha of the Whirlwind team moves quickly, and only Latia's mecha in the Red Flame team can match its speed. Therefore, as long as they solve Capello, they will have a great advantage. Latia, pay attention to your position and don't get caught by them. The captain's voice rang out on the team's public channel. I know, don't worry. Latia piloted the mech hovering above the Red Flame Squadron, always maintaining an appropriate distance from the Whirlwind Squadron's mech, which left them at a loss. Yi Bei, strengthen your firepower and cover us. Pay more attention to protecting Yi Bei. Yin, let's go up together. As the captain's instructions were given one by one, all members of the Red Flame team began to move. Yi Bei's mecha is a modified heavy-duty mecha, but unlike the more defensive mecha, his mecha is like a turret, carrying a maximum amount of artillery fire. Although the modified mecha has strong attack power, it has a major drawback, which is its slow movement speed and poor defense ability. Therefore, it requires more and more defensive mecha protection. Of course, the most important thing is that teammates should be awesome, otherwise, it is not recommended to modify like this. Under strong firepower coverage, the mecha of the Whirlwind team can only constantly dodge and cannot adopt effective strategies. Lu Huayin and the captain did not give the Whirlwind Squadron a chance either. The two of them piloted a mech and quietly approached the Whirlwind Squadron's mech under the cover of Yi Bei. Then, they seized the opportunity for one of the Whirlwind Squadron's mechs to dodge the shells and fired a sword, destroying the power system of that mech. With a successful strike, the two of them no longer lingered and quickly left the attack range of the Tornado team. However, no matter how fast their mechs were, they could not match the speed of the Tornado team's mechs. Yin, Captain, be careful behind us. Ritia's reminder came from the public frequency, but her reminder was already late. The attack of the Whirlwind Squadron had already reached behind the two of them. Lu Huayin and Captain Shi Jingyan are piloting a medium-sized mecha called Yin Hui. This type of mecha is the latest release by the federal military, with a bright silver overall body. It is equipped with melee weapons such as lightsabers and a new type of long-range 10 Malawian Kwacha series laser gun, which is a military mecha that combines multiple attack modes. At that time, when Lu Huayin was selecting a mecha, she immediately took a liking to the Yin Hui series mecha. However, this type of mecha had very high requirements for the driver, and she had to train for a long time to master it. Lu Huayin and Shi Jingyan had already sensed danger without hearing Capello's reminder. They quickly exchanged positions and slashed open the incoming shells from behind with one sword. At the same time, the laser gun mounted on the mech activated the energy storage mode. The energy storage time of the 10 Malawian Kwacha series new laser cannon has been shortened to 3 seconds, but this time is obviously fatal in the rapidly changing battlefield, so it requires the cooperation and cover of teammates at this time. After Lu Huayin's mech activated the energy storage mode, Shi Jingyan felt like he was blocking in front of her mech, and Yi Bei in the back also changed the trajectory of the firepower output. At a 45-degree position on the right front, launch. Latia reported the location of an enemy mech on the public channel. Received. Lu Huayin adjusted the firing port of the shell and fired it at the position reported by Latia. The voices of the crowd outside the field became increasingly fierce. I didn't expect the newcomers of the Red Flame Squad to be so powerful. Everyone has seen that the Red Flame Squadron defeated the Tornado Squadron's 2 mechas in a short period of time, and the Tornado Squadron has yet to make an effective counterattack. It is unknown whether the Tornado Squadron will reverse the situation in the future. Let's wait and see. The commentary on the field provided a detailed analysis of the situation between the two teams. Although the Whirlwind team has won multiple victories through this mode, it is evident that as they move forward, their opponents become stronger and this mode becomes less applicable, especially when dealing with teams like the Red Flame team who are well coordinated. I just said that the Whirlwind team will cool down sooner or later, said an audience member outside the venue. Oh, if I hadn't seen the person you bet on, I would have really believed it, the person next to him sneered. Even if you bet and lose, you don't have to trample on them like this. The Whirlwind team is already very good. I'm willing, can you manage it? The person became angry and embarrassed. Who cares about you? Anyway, I'm betting on the Red Flame team. Another audience member looked proud, but no matter what, he must have won this time. On the arena, the Tornado team, which had lost 2 players, was clearly in a mess. The opposing team started with firepower coverage, directly disrupting their rhythm. Later, due to a surprise attack by members of the Red Flame team, they lost 1 teammate. When the 2 mechs retreated, they thought they had seized the opportunity, but unexpectedly lost another teammate. The rhythm on the opposite side is really too fast, which makes the Whirlwind team, who is good at tug-of-war, exhausted from dealing with it. The Tornado team now only has 3 players left, and it is impossible to deal with the strong attack of the Red Flame team, so this game ended quickly. After the 2 teams left, the arena quickly returned to its original state. This is all good in the Star Network, and anything damaged can be repaired quickly. Returning to the lounge, Lu Huayin and others quickly spread out on the sofa and had a fight, feeling quite tired. In the Star Network, what is tiring is not the body, but the mind. Because people enter the Star Network through spiritual connections, after going out, the mind will feel particularly tired. Of course, this can be restored by just a good sleep. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Learning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Learning. Inin, how are you studying now? Do you have the confidence to get into the top 5 military academies? Latia sat next to Lu Huayin and rubbed her head, asking. Of course not a problem, Sister Latia, you have to trust me. The 2 of them have known each other for quite some time, so they have already exchanged names and some simple information. Xiao Inin is so great, you can definitely pass the exam, so you don't have to worry. For some reason, Yuli had a mysterious confidence in Lu Huayin. Inin needs to work hard. Yi Bei encouraged her beside her. Since Lu Huayin joined their team, several people have regarded her as their younger sister. When they heard that she is a high school student, they all worried about the old lady. They are usually afraid that Lu Huayin will not do well in the exam. Captain, don't you compliment me a few words? Yuli looked at the man sitting on the single sofa next to him. The man has sharp black short hair, with a slightly long front end that covers his sharp eyebrows and eyes. His tall nose bridge and thin lips resemble the masterpieces of the creator, and his exquisite jawline adds a touch of brilliance to him. Undoubtedly, he is a very handsome man, or rather a teenager. Although interstellar beings are adults at the age of 18, due to the increase in lifespan, Shi Jingyan, who is only 20 years old this year, still exudes a hint of youthfulness in his appearance. Upon hearing the words of Yu Li, he lifted his eyes and looked at the beautiful and charming girl. His lips parted slightly and he said lightly, "Come on." His eyes were cold and sharp, but when he looked at Lu Huayin, there was a hint of gentleness. His voice was low and magnetic, and even a few short words could boost Lu Huayin's confidence. If it weren't for their familiarity, it wouldn't have been easy for Lu Huayin to hear these two words from Shi Jingyan's mouth. She was somewhat proud to think that finding such a good teammate meant she was also excellent. As it was getting late, she stood up and said, "I should go offline and sleep. See you tomorrow." After speaking, she clicked to exit. "Xiaoyin has gone offline, let's go too." They are now online every day to accompany the landing of Huayin for training. Since the protagonist has left, there is no need for a few people to stay. The other three nodded and soon the rest room was empty. After leaving the holographic cabin, Lu Huayin did not immediately rest because her learning task for today had not been completed. She has completed the school's learning task, and now Lu Huayin is learning about mecha. To become an excellent mecha master and mecha warrior, she needs to spend more time learning than others. The school has also offered courses on mecha instructors before, but most of them are about the introduction of mecha instructors, their development history, and understanding of cross-generational figures. There is very little truly about mecha. Lu Huayin believes that in order to become an excellent mecha warrior, one must understand mecha, and mecha craftsmen are the ones who understand the existence of mechas the most. So, is there any problem with her learning about mecha craftsmen? No problem. To become a mecha maker, start by understanding the materials used to manufacture mechas. Different mecha have different characteristics because of the different materials added inside. For example, there are significant differences in the materials used between heavy mecha and light mecha. There are approximately 6,666 types of materials known to manufacture mechas in interstellar space, and simply remembering all of these materials is a major undertaking. Moreover, different materials have different combinations, so remembering these formulas is a big undertaking. Lu Huayin can only memorize the materials now, because in order to create a mech, she needs to awaken her spiritual power. Spiritual power can help mech makers effectively decompose various ions in the materials and reassemble them. Of course, traditional mechanical manufacturing can also mass-produce mechas. Most of the mechas circulating on the market are mass-produced, and mechas made by mecha manufacturers are rarely circulated outside. Most of the mass-produced mechas are civilian mechas, which can be driven as long as their mental strength is not too low. Military mechas are semi-mechanized in production, and the mecha engineers are fully involved in the production process. Some of the core components inside are manufactured by the mecha engineers. This type of mecha has higher requirements for the driver when used, and it also fits the driver better. Lu Huayin didn't go to bed until midnight after studying. Before 6 o'clock in the morning, she was about to get up and go to school. It only took her more than 10 minutes to take a public floating car from home to school, and even within a few minutes, Lu Huayin didn't let go. She was wearing headphones and playing Imperial language inside. The Empire is one of the most powerful countries in the interstellar space, and it is such a powerful country that sees the Federation as a thorn in its side. Due to the Zerg race, humans dare not engage in large-scale wars, but small local conflicts still occur frequently, with the most frequent being the border between the Empire and the Federation. The Empire occasionally disgusts the Federation, so it is necessary for the federal people to learn the Imperial language. After all, knowing oneself and the enemy is a win-win situation. A true academic achiever is never something that can be achieved simply by learning. Just like Lu Huayin, who not only studies at school but also continues to study when she returns home, no wonder no one else can match her. After all, she is a genius herself, and this genius is still constantly learning. How can other ordinary people compare to her? For someone like Lu Huayin who always wants to learn, she detests anything that hinders her studies. Therefore, when she sees the female protagonist standing in front of her, an impatient expression unconsciously appears on her face. Lu, thank you so much yesterday. If it weren't for you, I would definitely have been bullied very badly. Bai Yanran said to herself as if she hadn't seen Lu Huayin's expression. The current scene is very similar to the original text, and the same goes for the book. In the book, after helping the female lead, Lu Huayin was stopped by her the next day and thanked her. As a result, this scene was seen by the male lead and his followers. They took it for granted that Lu Huayin was with the female lead, so they began to bully her. But what's going on with the female lead? She's sure she didn't help her yesterday, why did she come over to thank her? Is the plot really unchangeable? This student, what are you saying? When did I help you? Lu Huayin's face became even more impatient. Class is about to start, please make way for it. Classmate Lu, if it weren't for your passing by yesterday, they wouldn't have been afraid to leave, so I really want to thank you. She said as she took out a lunch box from her backpack behind her, I made it myself, please accept it. Bai Yanran originally intended to put the lunch box directly into Lu Huayin's hand, but unfortunately her hand remained hidden in her clothes pocket. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The protagonist's appearance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The protagonist's appearance. As soon as she entered the class in the morning, Lu Huayin saw Bai Yanran placing a nutrient solution on the table of the male protagonist Bo's in the book. She shook her head and couldn't understand what the female protagonist was thinking. Is there only one man in this world? They treated her like that, and she even rushed to please her. Lu Huayin and the protagonist in the book are both in the same class. Before learning about the content of the book, she didn't pay much attention to the conflicts between them. Now that she knows, she always pays attention to them intentionally or unintentionally. In Lu Huayin's memory, the female protagonist had a wealthy family before and could be considered a wealthy little princess. She didn't know what happened in the middle that made her what she is now. However, the attractiveness of learning ultimately surpassed that of male and female leads, so after a glance, she returned to her seat and began learning. She doesn't have a protagonist aura like male and female leads, and can even enter top federal universities without studying. Just before she had studied for long, she was affected by a commotion. Lu Huayin looked up and saw that the male lead had come over. As soon as Boss entered the classroom, he saw the cheap nutrient solution placed on his desk. For some reason, an inexplicable anger rose in his heart. He walked 3 or 2 steps to his seat and pushed the nutrient solution on the table to the ground. The sound of the glass bottle shattering sounded, and the nutritional liquid saved by the female protagonist was wasted like this. Even so, Bose couldn't dispel his anger. So he walked up to Bai Yanran and angrily said, "What's the use of pleasing me now? I will never forgive you." Bai Yanran left tears of grievance on her face and said, "Boss, I just want to make it up to you. Can you stop doing this? My attitude towards women like you is already very good. Think about what your family did to me back then, it's all you owe me." Bose looked at Bai Yanran with a mocking look in his eyes, and the woman wanted to deceive herself with this innocent look. "I'm sorry, boss, I'm really sorry." Bai Yanran's lips trembled as she wanted to say something she hoped for, but in the end, she just kept saying sorry. "Sister, what's the use of just saying sorry? If you really feel sorry to Bose, you have to take action," said a coquettish female voice at the door. Bai Feifei came with Boss, and she saw everything that had just happened. Now, speaking is just to add fuel to the fire. Lu Huayin carefully observed the face of the supporting actress and found that the description of her in the original book was still too conservative. As the ultimate supporting actress who could survive until the last chapter before going offline, Bai Feifei's face was undoubtedly very beautiful. At this moment, under the guise of the male protagonist's benefactor, she suppressed the female protagonist to the point where she had no strength to fight back. Her beautiful face was filled with the pride of a winner. Indeed, after Bose rushed over last night and scolded Bai Yanran fiercely, how could she be unhappy? Bai Feifei, don't go too far. Bai Yanran looked at Bai Feifei with a face full of anger. You know exactly what the situation is. Bai Yanran. Boss didn't expect it to be this time. Bai Yanran actually wanted to bully Feifei. Fortunately, she went yesterday, otherwise she wouldn't have known what Feifei looked like when she bullied her. Now that I'm here, you actually want to bully Feifei. I didn't. Bai Yanran's face was full of disbelief. When did she bully Bai Feifei? You ask the other people in the class, I haven't even bullied her. Bai Yanran's gaze swept over the people in the classroom one by one, but those she saw silently lowered their heads. They didn't want to offend the young master of the Weiler family for Bai Yanran's sake. Alone and helpless, Bai Yanran's tears were about to flow again. She didn't expect the people in the class to be so cold-blooded. She already knew this, and she even had expectations for them. Suddenly, Bai Yanran seemed to remember something. She looked at Lu Huayin, who was studying, and said, "Classmate Lu, do you believe me?" Lu Huayin is a bit confused. What does this matter have to do with herself? It's really like people do it at home, things come from heaven. Bai, are you talking to me? She asked with some uncertainty. Yes, classmate Lu, can you help me testify? Bai Yanran looked pitifully at Lu Huayin. If it were to say that Bai Yanran was genuinely seeking help, Lu Huayin wouldn't believe it. Yesterday, she saw Bai Yanran being bullied and didn't even help her. Today, it's impossible for her to just help her with just a few words, so the female lead must have her own purpose. It's just that Lu Huayin doesn't know how she offended her. Bai, I didn't even notice what was happening on your end just now, so it's useless for you to come to me. Even if you saw her, she wouldn't care. Who knows if it will affect you later? Sister, don't say anything more. You just haven't bullied me before, everything is my own fault. Bai Feifei took all the responsibility onto herself, which made Bose feel heartbroken. Feifei, don't apologize for her anymore. You're just too kind, Bose said, glaring angrily at Bai Yanran. You apologize to Feifei quickly. Apologize, you asked me to apologize to her. Bai Yanran was very shocked, clearly not her own problem, why should she apologize? Not only her, but also everyone present was shocked. What kind of divine development was this? Is this person's mind sure? It's just that the Bose family has a huge power, and even if there are problems, they dare not say anything more. Apologize to Feifei quickly, don't fuss about it, boss said impatiently. Bai Yanran felt very humiliated. If she apologized to Bose, she could still accept it, but apologizing to Bai Feifei was nothing, she absolutely couldn't accept it. Bose, do you know what you're saying? You actually asked me to apologize to her. Bai Yanran asked incredulously. Isn't Bose very clear about their family situation? Of course I know what I'm talking about, Bose frowned. If it weren't for what happened before, he wouldn't have known that Bai Yanran had been deceiving himself. The argument between the two of them attracted the attention of the students in the classroom. To be honest, everyone didn't know what had happened between them. When they first entered this school, Bai Yanran and Bose had a very good relationship, and Bai Feifei had always been their follower. Later, the Bai family went bankrupt, and Bose took a long leave for some unknown reason. When they reappeared in everyone's sight, the situation completely changed. Bose and Bai Feifei began to pair up, while Bai Yanran became Bose's added dog. At that time, everyone was very shocked, and later on, Bose began to tolerate others bullying Bai Yanran. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Classroom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Classroom. Lu Huayin was not in the mood to participate in the farce between the male and female leads. Her time was precious, so she continued to sit in her seat while the male and female leads in supporting roles were arguing. Afterwards, I heard from others that Bai Yanran ran out crying. When the teacher came to class, he found that there were fewer people in the class and even had a big temper. He directly said that if Bai Yanran didn't come to class, he wouldn't come to his classes in the future. When Lu Huayin teaches herself, she usually doesn't follow the teacher's pace very much. Thanks to her grades, the teacher is also willing to let her learn on her own. I don't know why, but before realizing that this world is a book, Lu Huayin didn't have a deep memory of the people and things around her, especially the male and female protagonists. But after learning about the memories in the book, the images of the male and female leads and supporting roles instantly became clear in her mind. In theory, even if she doesn't pay much attention to topical characters like male and female leads, she should have an impression of them. This hazy feeling is really uncomfortable. She is a person who enjoys exploring the truth, especially when things happen to her. She needs to know the truth even more. Therefore, Lu Huayin tries to recall the memories deep in her mind, trying to find clues, but unfortunately things often don't go as planned. No matter how she thinks, she can't remember the specific things. Despite her efforts being fruitless for a long time, Lu Huayin could only temporarily give up. However, she believed that even if there was more fog on her body, one day she would be able to find the truth. Time in school is always fast and slow. When immersed in the ocean of knowledge, it feels like time passes quickly, but when it comes to truly listening to classes, time passes slowly. Schools in interstellar space have some similarities with the education model of ancient Blue Star China, but they are still vastly different in terms of strength and operation. The education model of Gu launching Hua Guo is mostly cramming education, while StarCraft places more emphasis on developing students' own potential. Since humans entered the interstellar era, there have been significant improvements in both lifespan and mental and physical abilities compared to before. By comparison, elementary school students in the interstellar space are probably able to defeat ordinary adults on the ancient Blue Star. In order to ensure the physical growth of students, the school offers a basic physical training course, which is different from the course customized by Lester for Lu Huayin privately. The main purpose of this course is to exercise the physical fitness of students, while what teacher Lester teaches can enter the battlefield to kill enemies. The difference between the two is probably the difference between college students and elementary school students. After the morning class ended, the first class in the afternoon was the basic training course for Lu Huayin's class. This class is usually taught by teacher Lester, but he will be going to the preparatory military academy to teach from today on, so the school has changed their teacher. Usually, due to the strict management of teacher Lester, the students are very tense. Now that they have suddenly changed teachers, they always feel like they need to relax, so they behave very disobediently in class. Bose had long been displeased with teacher Lester, but he was not afraid of the influence of the Willer family. Therefore, Bose dared not even fart in teacher Lester's class. Now that he finally has a soft persimmon to pinch, he must not miss this opportunity. After the new teacher arrived, Bose kicked Bai Yanran in front of him and ordered, "Go, buy me a bottle of water." This tone, even if it was someone else, would not be willing to go, but who let him command Bai Yanran? Even if she was afraid of the teacher, she was still willing to go for Bose's sake. So, under the teacher's watchful gaze, Bai Yanran weakly raised her hand and said, "Teacher, I'm not feeling well and I want to go rest." She dare not say that she wants to buy water, so she can only say that her body is uncomfortable. After all, girls, there will always be a few days. Because the moral education teacher, who had just opened the door and had not yet established his dignity, his eyes lit up. He was worried about not finding a typical example, so he came to his door. "This student, just started class and you said you were feeling unwell. Do you think I would believe it?" He didn't believe that this student was really feeling unwell. "Teacher, I'm really feeling unwell." Because my body hasn't been doing well since I was young, Bai Yanran pretended to be a patient very well. I saw her face gradually turn pale, and her body was on the verge of collapse. Teacher De Xiu hesitated for a moment, wondering if this person was not pretending. No, he still had to try again. Since that's the case, let your class monitor take you to the clinic for a walk. Before coming, Teacher De Xiu had a brief understanding of this class. The monitor of this class is very excellent and usually impartial. I believe she won't help this classmate lie. After hearing the teacher point at her, class leader Lu Huayin stood up helplessly. Can't this male and female lead stop for a while and let no one train? Bye, let's go now. Let's go to the medical room. Lu Huayin walked up to Bai Yanran and reached out to support her. Before Bai Yanran could refuse, she suddenly dragged her away. Teacher De Xiu nodded in satisfaction as he watched the scene, and then he looked at the others and said, "All right, everyone is ready. We're starting training now." On this side, as soon as Lu Huayin and Bai Yanran walked out of a distance, she began to non-stop. First, she wanted to break free from Lu Huayin's control. Later, when she saw that the momentum was not right, she softly begged her. "Classmate Lu, I don't have any major health problems. Just take a break and I'll be fine. You go train first, don't worry about me." Although Lu Huayin is a bit annoyed at the moment, she also doesn't want the male and female leads to be satisfied, so she said with a righteous tone, "Bai, how can this be done? Since the teacher has handed you over to me, I can't leave you alone. Let's go to the medical room first," she said, pulling Bai Yanran's arm and continuing towards the direction of the medical room. Upon seeing Lu Huayin's posture, Bai Yanran suddenly became anxious and said, "Classmate Lu, I'm really not in any big trouble. I don't need to go to the medical room anymore." She was just looking for an excuse to buy water for boss, which would have been exposed if she had gone to the medical room. Today, she has offended several teachers and cannot continue to offend them. Speaking of which, she remembered what Lu Huayin had done tonight, so she said in a melancholic tone, "Lu, so many people were making things difficult for me this morning, and you didn't even help me. Now I don't need your help anymore. Instead, you're holding on to me and not letting go. What do you mean by that?" Lu Huayin shook the goosebumps on her body and then said seriously to Bai Yanran, "This morning's incident is not within my scope of responsibility. It's your own business, and now, sending you to the medical room is the task assigned to me by the teacher, so please don't confuse Bai." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Training. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Training. So, Bai Yanran was dragged and pulled by Lu Huayin to the medical room. The on-duty doctor in the medical room of No. 1 Middle School is a medical robot, which can basically solve injuries to students in the school. Welcome to Class 1, Grade 3, Lu Huayin. After scanning Lu Huayin, the medical robot began its work. "Please lie down on the bed, and I will treat you next." Speaking of which, Lu Huayin has also had many interactions with medical robots. Usually, when she comes to the medical room, she is mostly injured. Whether there is any injury on the student's body can be identified by a medical robot scan. Lu Huayin still has the injury left over from yesterday, but because it is not too serious, she did not come to see it. Who knew she was recognized by the medical robot when she came over today, but she didn't come to see a doctor for herself. So she quickly stopped the medical robot from moving. "Wait, it's not me who came to see the doctor today." As she spoke, she pushed Bai Yanran to the medical robot and said, "My classmate came to see a doctor today. Please check her up quickly." Unfortunately, even if she explained quickly, the medical robot did not listen to her. Its program was set to only serve injured students, and everything else was ignored. Because Bai Yanran was very healthy, it naturally targeted the injured Lu Huayin. "Lu Huayin, please do not resist. Your injury needs timely treatment." The medical robot chased closely behind Lu Huayin, and the wheels used to replace walking under it were spinning rapidly. This is the most important reason why Lu Huayin doesn't like to come to the medical room, because in the past, artificial intelligence had problems, so now robots are very rigid, they can only complete the task set by the program. In order to complete the task, they will spare no effort, even if it causes secondary injuries to the students during this process, it will not stop. Who makes it a medical robot? As long as the students do not die, it can save them. After struggling in a corner for a while, Lu Huayin was still caught by the medical robot. Of course, this was also because she deliberately fell into the hands of the medical robot to avoid her second injury. Because Lu Huayin's injuries were not too severe, the treatment proceeded quickly and was almost completed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Bai Yanran was stunned. She had not been to the medical room for a long time, and when she came, she also cooperated well with the medical robot's treatment, so this was the first time she had seen such a scene. Alright, don't be in a daze. We need to go back quickly. Lu Huayin jumped off the medical bed and shook her hand in front of Bai Yanran. Ah! Are we leaving now? It doesn't need to be checked for me. It's all here, and without checking, I feel like something's missing. Lu Huayin turned her head to look at her, raised her eyebrows and smiled, saying in an ambiguous tone, "No need, we'll know when we go back." The treatment data of medical robots will be directly transmitted to the substitute teacher's optical brain after the students complete the treatment, which is also to prevent students from using it for fraud. Only a few students know about this matter, and it was a coincidence that Lu Huayin was able to know. Because of this, teachers have caught many students who like to use excuses to go to the medical room and other places. Bai Yanran was looked at by Lu Huayin, and Lu Huayin's smile always felt like she was hiding something from her. She just thought about the relationship between the two of them, and she took a break from her questioning thoughts. Halfway through, she pointed to the self-service vending machine and said to Lu Huayin, "Classmate Lu, wait a moment, I'll buy a bottle of water." Even at this point, she still couldn't forget Bosch's explanation. At first, Lu Huayin didn't know why she was buying water. When she returned to the training ground and saw Bai Yanran running to Boza's side and handing him the water, she realized that she really didn't know what to say. Is this the characteristic of the female protagonist of sadistic literature? Seeing Bai Yanran handing the water to him with a gentle smile on his face, Boz couldn't help but feel malicious in his heart. He threw the water in Bai Yanran's hand aside, frowned, and said, "I won't drink such cheap water." "Bai Yanran, you're really enough. You know what I love to drink, but you bought this one. Are you trying to provoke me? This brand of water is what Bosch hates the most." "No, it's not like that," Bai Yanran stuttered and explained. She really didn't mean it, she just didn't have enough money on her, otherwise she wouldn't have bought this kind of thing. She hesitated twice, but ultimately did not reveal her embarrassing situation. But she didn't say it, someone spoke for her. Seeing this scene, Bai Feifei walked up and took Boza's arm, comforting him first. "Boss, don't be angry. Sister probably ran out of money, that's why she bought the water you hate the most." Then, she looked at Bai Yanran again and said, "Sister, hurry up and apologize to Brother Boz." Enough. Bai Feifei's successful call reminded Boz of something bad. "Bai Yanran, while I'm not angry yet, you better get out of here quickly." The onlookers next to you were speechless for a moment, and your attitude was so hilarious that you didn't even lose your temper. Lu Huayin also cannot understand the brain circuits of the male and female leads. Sometimes she feels that the world is really unfair. Some people need to work hard to have a better future, while others can go to prestigious schools by talking about love and affection. The future in reality is not yet determined, but in the book, both the male and female protagonists have entered well-known federal universities. Judging from their current situation, Lu Huayin would definitely not believe that they have no insider information. While the male and female leads continued to argue, an accident occurred. The training ground, like the medical room, is guarded by robots, and the robots in the training ground are mainly used to ensure the hygiene of the training ground. I don't know who set up the robot programs in first high school, anyway. Lu Huayin doesn't want to experience the joy of being chased by robots. The robots in first high school are all stubborn. For example, medical robots must treat patients who appear in front of them, and cleaning robots must also clean up people who litter as garbage. So this comical scene appeared on the training ground, where the tall, handsome, and carefree young master boss was now being chased by a low-level cleaning robot, looking disheveled. Lu Huayin himself couldn't escape the clutches of medical robots, and Bose, the young master, couldn't escape the cleaning robots either. Therefore, he was quickly swept out of the training ground by the cleaning robots like garbage. All the students present dared not openly mock due to the influence of the young master, but their shoulders trembled uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Bai Yanran, who narrowly escaped danger, was being criticized by teacher Dexiu. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Emerging Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors.